Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, it is 7:21. I'm calling to order the General Government and Public Safety Committee meeting. Attendance has been taken. We'll open comments from citizens.
I do. Linda Gorman, 800 Jason Court. I heard Harold discussing this with a little bit with Donnie and whatever. This trailer ordinance that you've got makes absolutely no sense because it says that all RVs, no RV can park anywhere on anybody's residential property. And there's probably 50 RVs and trailers that are parked on concrete that don't have sheds, and you're either gonna have to grandfather them in or whatever. I thought this ordinance started out because of RVs being parked on the city right away. These RVs and trailers and stuff are parked in these people's yards on concrete pads that I'm assuming they got permission to put in.
This is meant to be a draft for us to review and discuss. We're not voting on it today.
No, I know that, but I just wanted to, put my 2 cents
I've
in.
got quite a few.
Gotta make
concerns.
Landon mad,
I've got concerns about it too. 'Cause
Okay.
You're right, we have a lot of law-abiding citizens in this community that have campers.
Well, and like at Anchorfest, we have several RVs that are parked here for the carnival people for 4 and 5 days, and in this ordinance, it's, says they can't be there that long.
We gotta be careful we don't punish law-abiding people while we're
Right.
trying to take care of an issue.
Okay, I just wanted to point out a couple things.
Yeah, we don't wanna avoid people being able to come in and visit with one and get a temporary permit or what have you, too, as well, so.
I have some of the same concerns when I read it. Okay, any other comments from citizens? Okay, we'll move it on to the police department. Chief, anything?
I can't remember when we said this is supposed to start, but when's the roundabout supposed to go in out there? When we're going-
Last thing I heard was the fall of this year.
Goes out for bid, right?
I
Go
emailed,
for bid.
I emailed the engineer because of relocation possible of our electric lines.
And that's
Never-
by far the absolute worst intersection we got.
Never
So,
done.
we had, in 2 days, we had 2 accidents out there. So, that's kind of, that's.
It may be spring before the work is done,
I believe it's supposed to be completed
but 20,
by fall of '24,
right.
like everything done.
Yeah,
I think we need to keep
Well, we
in
need-
contact with them, because
Oh, I tried.
we don't want to put up, they're gonna start widening I-70, I don't wanna see, which needs to be done, but this needs to be done too.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. It just,
Yeah, this is the number one
MoDOT doesn't
DOT
move.
project. This is our number one DOT project that they have.
They ours is classified as red as the highest priority, so it's,
okay.
They always said the infrastructure would be done through 23, and that'd be moved and got in place, and then 24 would be completion by fall.
I thought it went out for bid this fall and then completion.
It might, it may go out to bid, but I think it'll be completed in 24. I think spring's when you'll probably see them start to work into it and potentially,
Did you check these?
I thought originally like into 24,
Yeah,
or
he
first of
requested
25 be done.
some locations, and so we
I think
documented
be done,
and sent
done.
pictures and
In
But-
first of
email
25.
them.
Yeah, the into 24, first
Trying to
20,
get
that's
it.
what
I
I
think
was
it goes
thinking.
out for bid this spring or this fall.
Yeah,
When
the
they
more
start.
time they get it rolling, yeah.
They're not gonna have no money.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I would say-
My truck didn't end up with it.
Speed
In
trailer's
the next
back
year.
out,
Yep.
but the computer that runs it has stopped working, or one that analyzes the information, the laptop.
It's a great tool.
So it still collects all that information, I just can't give it to you in a report form. I'm still trying to decide who I'm gonna use to fix that, so just stay tuned on that.
We ain't had nothing but problems with that place.
It didn't cost us anything.
I see
Probably
why.
wise. Did you put it out? Did you have a bunch of complaints through that area, or did you just pick?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you send out an email to everyone about Ally, or you're gonna talk about that tonight?
yeah, I was gonna talk about it at
Okay.
the next meeting.
The next meeting.
I mean, you can talk about it now, but they're voting at the next meeting.
Okay, well, we got a part-timer that's coming to work full-time here now, and it'll be a good addition. So we'll be up full, personnel, so. But I'd like to get that done sooner than later, because so,
So we're having the meeting, that's why we had the meeting.
okay, anyway.
Any questions for Chief Hatton?
I think she's doing a good job of keeping staff in today's marketplace, so thanks, good. Another team.
Anything to say?
Well, I think mine's pretty boring compared to all this stuff. I have been, I did look the other day on a used fire truck, you know, I think we got some money set aside, but another town bought it before we could get a hold of it. I can't blame them, I bought it too if I could get a hold of it. Marilyn and I put out that, I think we were gone there, put out that you can
Lift
burn
the
again,
fire
you
down.
know, and we still
Yes,
get
I
all
already
people
know.
asking if we can burn them, thinking, wow, how much range do you really need to burn something, but whatever. Then, people are asking about when we're gonna do the fireworks. You all need to kind of figure that out.
Christmas Eve.
Do
I
it.
had some here lately, but,
Christmas,
huh?
New
Tractor
Year's,
parade.
New Year's.
When's the car show?
The third,
Of
oh,
what?
I'm sorry.
Third of what?
September.
When's the holiday?
Where's Labor Day? We probably don't
Labor
need
Day
to
weekend.
It's a lot of towns that moved and are doing them.
Yeah.
Sunday in the middle of Labor Day
Is
weekend.
that on a Sunday?
I don't know. I mean, 'cause we have to, we're gonna get a hold of the fireworks people, and it's gonna take a little bit, we need.
Will it still have the same impact if you do it?
No.
I mean, nobody's ever done this before, have they?
We're breaking new ground, Donnie.
There's a lot of towns that scheduled theirs for that weekend, to be quite honest, that I've
Yes,
seen.
there's quite a few over the holiday weekend in September.
And we advertise, I think we probably still have a pretty good turnout if we just do it. We had a lot of people disappointed, nobody didn't have a show, so I think we have a turnout.
But it was,
Make a
it was the
suggestion.
right
Go
call.
for it.
Go,
It was the
It-
right
it
In
call.
October, there's a national night out that we're kind of spinning up for. Might be a,
Have it at the city park, shoot fireworks off after
That'd
it's
be a
over.
good thing, that's a good idea.
We can't shoot.
Do it like at 7, are you gonna do it
At
at
the
8
city
o'clock?
park?
Oh.
No,
Not
yeah.
just-
Not in the square.
Yeah, let's get
I've heard of homecoming, and that's too close at the football field, you can't do that either.
have the wine walk. Would you be willing to do the national night out at the city park instead of the square?
we can direct Stobie to do it at the park. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
So that lasts about when, 9 o'clock or so?
not even really all that long. I mean, we can,
Well, it gets, when's that going?
in October.
It'll get.
So
I mean, some food trucks.
Earlier.
It gets darker earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, we just need to figure out a time when we get it all.
I better ask Ranger One, make sure he doesn't have anything going on.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that during like a
Well, to
week?
bring more, I think, attention to the National Night Out as
That's
well.
usually like on a Tuesday or Thursday or?
Yeah,
I mean,
It's
we will,
midweek, yeah.
I'll have to nail down the date for you. I can get
we can party that night, it don't matter, it's been a mess anyway, so.
October 3rd,
what's that?
other towns are doing it October 3rd.
Yeah, I'll get a date. I'll nail her down.
Good idea. Okay, anything else for the fire department?
Did you tell him that the truck passed, was that this month, I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know, the little one's back to
Yeah.
running like it's supposed to. The pump tested the other two today, so. And then we know that money we got, we're looking into buying some things. Things are taking 4 or 5 months to get, so I mean, we're gonna get to work or what do you do? How we pay?
So it's a matching grant, $20,000.
Yeah,
So I'd like to do it next budget year. So I can budget that $20,000.
that's my people that comes in, so it'll be all right.
Okay.
They told me today, we looked at one at Columbia's fire trucks, you know, we talked to Columbia years and years about one of their trucks, and it's not gonna happen. Cause they can't, it's 4 years to get a fire truck built. So they'll have, this is, the one that we looked at will probably be wore out as it comes around.
Said Clint, you were talking about?
The one we looked at the other night online, it would have been it's still a 20-year-old truck, but it had only 15,000 miles on it and stuff. That was likely to be still old, but whatever. They passed all the specs. It's just where you might fit in. The guys that pump tested today said all they're doing down at their shop is doing refurbishments because they can't get new ones, so.
That may be something worth looking into.
The cost of probably keeping people to hang on to something in a year or two in the life cycle when they had them before.
Yeah.
$250,000
But I'm saying, I mean,
for a minor truck.
the way costs have gone up just to operate the city infrastructure, just, you know, for regular products. Change the buying habits a little bit.
Okay. Anything for other public safety? Nothing? Okay. Economic development brings us to the Chamber of Commerce. There's a page in here. Anything you want to point out?
No, I'm happy to take questions. I did talk to Matthew about the Cincinnati sign coming in. Right before you get to the overpass, I think we're gonna have you guys put it on the rotation to keep that pruned up.
Yeah.
I went by the other day and you can barely see it.
Did,
so.
last time we talked, you said Sam was gonna reach out to me.
Yeah,
I haven't.
he's at the fair.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
he
just
gets.
kinda waiting on him to.
Yeah, he gets back next week.
Okay.
I'll put it on his list. Yeah.
What's this art stuff that's on here?
So I have done a lot of research on how art brings people into small towns. So I'm working with a couple business owners to make that happen. We've got 3 happening late August, September timeframe. And then I've got other businesses waiting I just need more artists to do them. It's to the point now where businesses are reaching out to me, wanting on the list. So everybody's very excited about it. We've got a lot to offer here with Second Saturdays. We've got new restaurants and coming in restaurants and nice shops downtown. So I think that will, I don't know, social media, everybody likes taking a picture in front of a mural. So that's kind of the idea. We'll hashtag them all a saying, Central Missouri, whatever. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Any questions? Okay, move on, park board, agenda packet. Whole lot there. Library, I think it was the agenda packet as well as meeting minutes. Any discussion points there? I don't believe I saw anything for the cemetery or the tree board, which brings us to the accounts payable over $1,250. Definitely is a lot larger than normal with the Martin General Contractors pay.
They were the big chunk of that for sure.
Yep.
What's their last payment? They done?
That was the second to last payment. The last payment's going out in this next cycle. And that's where we paid out the retainage on that.
Any questions about the expenses? Don't see any financial statements in the packet.
There's been a problem with our financial software.
Oh, lovely.
Marilyn's been struggling with them for the last couple of months trying to get this going, and it's absolutely been ridiculous. Today they told her again that it's fixed now, so we'll see. So you should have financial statements in the next meeting.
I know money's been tight, but I remember last year when we were at the conference, we were looking for some consolidated software ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe we're gonna have to find a way to do that. that brings us to our other general government. We have a parking of recreational vehicles and residential areas ordinance to discuss.
So, since we had been discussing this and we had asked Sydney to find an ordinance that specifically addresses recreational vehicles, this is the one she found. The mayor, myself, and Harlan have looked over this. It definitely would fit Centralia. Obviously, there's a couple issues in there, so, we just need guidance from you guys where you would like for us to clean it up or change it and have it ready to go by next week.
The first section, it says that nobody can have an RV essentially parked outside of their house for storage, or a boat, or, because recreation talks about boats and other things. And that wasn't the issue we were trying to address, that if somebody had one on their driveway or on the side of their house, and then
Yeah, I mean, we didn't want them on the street. I didn't want objecting to it being on the driveway.
we don't want people living in them, and we didn't want them on the street not moving for days on end.
The problem I see with like boats is people park their boat up in their driveway and then they park their car or truck in front of that and then they're across the sidewalk, which is against the city code.
And we have an issue, a way to deal with that.
And then their cars in their yard. I don't know an example
Yeah,
of
that's
that.
getting worse than normal.
We do have the ordinance for that. I ran across it recently. I forwarded it to Sandy and she's gonna be knocking back on that a little bit. So hopefully you'll see less of that happen.
So, because this basically would turn our community into a place where nobody could store their RV or even use their RV or camper or boat on their property for more than 3 days, which I don't think was our intent.
I agree. This seems to go too far.
Just basically, everybody who's got one would have to go pay storage rent. Would be great for self-storage locations, but not necessarily for the people.
We gotta do something, but when you do this, we need more chairs.
That's why we gotta do something that makes sense. I mean, I think back when we talked about the dog ordinance, and there was a lot of.
The problem
strong
you've got
opinions.
in Centralia, and I could, right now, we could go look at 25 examples. You got a small house, a small driveway, and 12 cars. And then they have to have a boat too and all that, and there's a lot of examples of that. There's old streets. I mean, you made that comment the other day at Howard Burton, and I didn't think much about it, but I went down Miles and Howard Burton, and I counted 4. And I didn't even go the rest of the town. He could have gave tickets out. But people will not get rid of their cars, and kids are staying right, Harlan, I mean, they're
Well,
everywhere.
there's plenty of them out there.
And you tell somebody they gotta get rid of their boat, they'll get rid of their kids first, before they get rid of this boat, right? I mean, you know, that's what's gonna happen here. I agree with you.
We don't wanna tell them that they're getting rid of it.
Yeah, so I think let's take a step back. One, I agree, but that wasn't really, I want to get us back on track on the agenda if we can. Yeah, so we're talking about an RV ordinance, and it was supposed to be RVs, trailers, boats that are stored in city right of ways or lived in for an extended period of time, is what I think we're really focused on.
And that does not say that,
And
you
that
know, we're a long way.
Lived in, that means you can't live in it in your driveway for an extended period of time.
Correct, I would agree with that, and there's part of this that talked about, living in your RV, you know, whether it's in your driveway or not. And that's why I moved my camper from our seasonal campground, because I had somebody that was gonna stay with me for a week, and that was the best way to do it. That shouldn't be a problem, you know, especially when we talk Anchorfest, graduations,
No,
things are going on, people are gonna,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be a problem with somebody hooking it up, electricity to it for a week, and then moving it away, because they've had, their house is bursting at the seams with everybody there, visiting for some big event, you know, that happens. We don't wanna penalize that. So I think we need to go different.
Okay.
It's a tough no.
So do you want this totally kicked and I have her continue looking for one, or do you want it tweaked?
Can she draft something that just starts with what we want and give you a template of something? Because
I'm more concerned about people living.
Right, that's what I'm saying. These are the 5 things that you can have
I mean,
put in there.
okay, we didn't like them on the street. We've kind of taken care of that, at least the ones I know of. Maybe there's probably others out there, but my next concern is people that are living
Well, that's a
in an
very small
RV in their
percent.
driveway.
That's a very small percent. I mean,
But it shouldn't be though.
no, it
They
shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be living.
Well, the
Living
living,
on public property for an extended period of time and not moving.
right, because that lends
Those are the
itself
two
to the people in the tents and so forth. They can find a used trailer and somebody lets them move into it. They live in it. We have that problem. We have some trailer. Happens a lot. And,
People living in their RV in the driveway.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And they got the sewer hooked
Or
to the
a pool
house.
camper.
yep.
There's been plenty of pool campers that people live in some trash in the last.
I mean, that's, to me, that's where we.
So that's where we need to focus on that to eliminate that squatter type situation.
Yeah,
So living in and parked in public right away for an extended
that's,
period.
I guess that's what it is.
Well, we've got the ordinance that fixes that.
Okay.
We needed an ordinance to define what a recreational vehicle was. This does do that.
Mhm.
And then, did you want to require them to put them on a concrete pad or gravel or, we're talking about parking in the side,
I
on the
think-
side of the house in the grass or in the front yard. I just wanna make sure that,
Well, should it be
I don't
something?
think it should be parked in the grass.
How about property line? I mean, it
Because
looks
then
like
the
it
weeds
needs,
will be up to the windows.
it can't be right on your property line next to a neighbor's
Right.
house.
well,
So
that's
you
why
could
we
consider
have,
it as like a
setback.
setback for like a shed or something. you know,
Something
that's
like,
that.
what's a shed ordinance?
Yeah, I mean, it
What's
has
the
to be-
setback on that?
First of all, any detached building is supposed to be 10 foot from an existing dwelling, which, if you look around this town,
I'm more, not that it has to be a building, but it should be a uniform code of where you got, put them and how they should look, to me, moving forward. And that would be potentially like subdivisions have, you can't come from the back corners of your house towards the front with a fence, you can put a fence in the back. You gotta be set to meet the city's requirements. It could be from that point back, but would have to be on, a pad of gravel that's approved or concrete or something.
We have to,
There's a
carports,
fine line
don't we? We have to
between
ordinance for that.
issue
It's the same
and
thing as a
over-governing
shed.
something, and I wanna be careful we don't
How
over.
far does it out?
Well, I think you have to govern things to a point that people don't end up having something looks like
it's like a
crap sitting there that's got
3 feet
stuff
off the
growing all
back
around.
property line.
You take care of your stuff, I
3
take
foot
care of my
back.
stuff, but there's those
Foot
few, so
off
if
the
you
side, I
put
think is
the
what it
language
is.
in,
Yeah.
I don't think it should be in the building, I think that's way over
In a
here.
building's overboard.
But I think some requirements of what that looks like, of where it resides, for when you
Should
park
be
it.
sitting on the grass, but I don't know if we should designate that it's gotta be so far off the building or something like that.
Isn't-
I mean,
Most people in their
Trailer one,
driveway
or
are
was
pretty
it,
close
where
to the
trailers
house.
already had to be on?
It's gonna be close
Driveway?
to the house, and some people will.
So in
put it on the side of
camper,
the
just like a
house.
trailer?
It's the only place they got.
What'd you say, Phil?
We should just
That's
make
what
it
I would
crap
think,
under.
but
We already have an ordinance that we do where trailers and stuff have to be on the driveway. Camper basically is a trailer, it's just a camper trailer, so it technically, it's gotta be on a driveway already. I mean, that's kind of a moot point.
Can't be on city property, that's what he was trying to say.
yes,
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about putting in grass and stuff like that. I mean, it's already, we already have an ordinance that it has to be on gravel or paved driveway. You can't be sitting in
The
your yard.
trailers,
Yeah,
so we would just need to add.
yeah, we already have an ordinance on trailers.
Recreational vehicle definitions to that.
Yeah.
Address part of it, but then we need to make sure we do something about living in it for more than whatever number of days we feel comfortable with.
Well, I mean, if you get in trouble with your wife, you need to stay in the camper for 2 or 3 months. I
But then, okay,
But there's
and that's
people
where,
that
that's
are,
where I
they're
want.
permanent, they're permanent, that's their permanent residence.
And that's another thing I want to be careful of, you know, somebody may be living in one because they're remodeling a house, and they're truly remodeling the house, how do we not penalize them?
You know, we've had a camper burn a house up because
Yeah,
it
we
plugged
did.
into a house.
there we have.
What?
Yeah.
They did what?
They did what again?
Camper was plugged into a house next to the house, and couldn't handle the,
Voltage.
and they were living in the camper also. and
Oh.
I thought we had an ordinance.
It burnt the house,
Question
back
around
in the
that
house.
is, how do they get the thing plugged into the house
Well, if you're not set up with a 30 amp or a 50 amp plug just for the camper, then you're using an adapter, jumping it down to 110, and they'll get hot.
It gets hot quick.
You drop it down to 110.
I thought we had an ordinance after that happened.
We did, I thought so.
That's what I thought. We couldn't plug a camper into your house. I'm pretty sure there's an ordinance out there that we've got that says that.
I mean, I know people
It
that
had to be away from the house.
put
It had to be away from
just
the
for
house, because
campers.
that house burnt, and then we made that ordinance where you can't plug a camper into your house.
Period. For
Period.
For no period,
Period.
for no period of time?
Period.
I got you an adapter.
Well, I was thinking that a while back. I didn't know.
Every guilty
Just
person.
charge the battery on it.
That eliminates some people. Well, I think we're getting on the right track here, aren't we? It is gonna be
I think
about-
So maybe we need to have just a kick around discussion instead of maybe adopting one, maybe we
Well,
should just,
something that loses the verbiage that you have to have it in a building or not, I think that's overkill in itself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with having some expectations of what it's gonna look like and where you can play it a little bit. We're not telling you can't have one, but you have to have it on gravel or something, and I don't care if it's the side of the house, whatever you decide you wanna do with that. But I think the person should have a right to have their camper, because we got a bunch of people that have campers, but,
It shouldn't be right on the property line either.
no, I agree, no, I agree, that's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
that's another side.
Let's set, just like you wanna put a shed in the yard.
Yeah.
And it's temporary, so it doesn't have, that's how you get around some of these covenants and stuff, some of these housing
Yeah.
divisions,
Well, if you
so.
don't want it on your side, if you don't want it on your property line, what's the setbacks on the side of the yard? It's 10 foot,
6 foot.
6 foot, so you're not gonna put it there, it's gonna be on the property line.
There's a lot,
No, so it's gonna be in the backyard, probably.
there's a lot of neighborhoods you can't do it, they don't have enough room.
Yeah, my house couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a jet ski in between some of the houses.
I can't get it in my backyard.
That's what I said.
You can, I'll get some.
I mean,
Yeah.
my neighbor doesn't know about it.
So it sounds like.
Yeah, I've got a
some
neighbor
level
that
we got
doesn't know about
consensus.
it
We don't want
either.
people living in it. We want, if it's stored off the driveway, it's gotta have some level of gravel or concrete beneath it. And it sounds like there's still debate on if it can be on the side of a house or not, but.
And I don't think it should be plugged into a house.
The camper.
Well, if we
Yeah.
have an ordinance that
It
fixes
said
it.
We'll have to see if there's an ordinance
Yeah.
on that.
If we don't, we ought to make one for that.
It ought to have to be on the right circuit to even hook it to anything like that. I mean, if it's adapted down using, multiple cords and stuff like that, that's no good. It needs to be just on the proper circuit. If it was gonna be like that.
I mean, you buy a camping trailer to go camping, not to plug it into your house.
For those that have campers, there are reasons for doing that before you pull out, like getting your freezer cold.
What we're gonna do,
Did we make it messier, or did we give you at least some idea of what we're?
I'm just gonna hit her up with, we wanna limit residencies in the RVs, on a temporary residency only. No parking in city right away, which we've pretty much already got. We still wanted to define what an RV is, or a recreational vehicle.
And it
period.
does that pretty well.
It needs to be spelled out that it's on a pad, concrete, or gravel, because it really already is. We just need to add that it's recreational vehicles the same, and that we probably wanted to meet setbacks. I understand they're movable, but to keep it off of the
Yeah.
lines,
But I guess if you
neighbors
had-
still function.
I'm looking at,
Keep it on the side of the house, so.
Building or something.
I mean, it's gonna have to be its own animal, because if you do a setback for like a detached building or something, like I said, it requires, Boone County requires a 10-foot gap between that said building and this dwelling.
For a fire.
For fire.
Sure, makes sense.
Probably because there's a camper that caught a house on fire.
currently in our code, I'm looking at the right one, and it says a recreational vehicle, a vehicle which is built on a single chassis, 400 square feet or less when measured at the largest horizontal projections, designed to be self-propelled or permanently towable by a light-duty truck, and designed primarily not to use as a permanent dwelling, but as a temporary living quarters for recreational camping, travel, or seasonal use. That's in our code,
That's probably not a good definition,
so.
because people do live in them full-time and things like that, so some of them are designed for that level. So we probably have to review our definition.
Oh, yeah.
This has a definition for a recreational vehicle. I think this is pretty good,
Yeah, I do like the definition.
Yeah.
because it says examples include travel trailers, motorhomes, boats, jet skis.
And I like that it doesn't have measurements in there for it.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta
It falls
spell
in
that
those
out.
Definitions, that tends to cover
Because
it.
somebody always finds one, well, that doesn't say that, this is this, you know, this isn't a zebra, it rolled in the mud.
Do you need anything else from us to give something to Sydney at this point?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Do you want this at the next meeting, or do you want us to work on it and present it in the next committee meeting?
I would go with the latter there.
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll probably have some
So we
discussion.
can talk about it, okay?
Yeah.
And if you send a draft out of it before the committee meeting, we might be able to do some refining where when we get from the committee meeting, it'll be ready to go for.
Yeah, speed it up a little.
That means we're giving it time, right?
Okay, so the next discussion point, 13D, is about prohibiting tents as residences. Absolutely.
So you'll see that there's a line in there. We need to define as habitation for a period in excess of however many days on any property within the city of Centralia.
I can't run any more tents, right?
Put you right out of business.
I have some people living right over here in the city square all the last 2.5 months.
And we don't want to go around ticketing people because the kids are camping in their backyard for a week, or weekend, or something like that.
Well, common sense has to prevail, you know.
Common sense doesn't
By the-
work.
by the-
That does not exist anymore.
Yeah, that's.
What's that?
Common
I need
sense.
to have it black and white.
There's no common sense anymore.
Well, that's about outlaw.
7 days.
5 days, 7 days,
If you pick 7 days, and it's on a Tuesday, it's Tuesday, the next Tuesday, it's still there, it's an issue, and otherwise,
Yeah, I think he's gonna
yeah,
turn it
it'd be easier to keep track of.
yeah, it makes it easy to,
up to a week, you know.
Seven
Then
cal,
what if
seven
they
cal.
stay out of it for a day and then go back in and start again?
If it's been set up, it counts.
What if it's
I
just
would
drying
say- I
out?
would say if it's set up, it counts.
What if they went camping and it's drying out?
So that, I don't think that counts in here because it's for, public health and welfare.
Well, if you're-
So it's because there's no
Sanitation.
bathroom facilities and stuff like that. So if there's nobody in it and it's an empty tent, I don't think it.
How many days
quite
did you
fits.
say?
Drying
There's no way. you can keep
I think it should
that
encompass
seven
tents
days.
being set up, period. You can set it up,
They blow
you
down.
can set a
and do
tent
that.
up to dry it out, I get that.
Yeah.
But if you need to leave it up for more than a week to dry it out, you better quit going where you've been going. Or bring it in out of the damn rain, I don't know what else to tell you on that, but so my point is, I think a tent's a tent, if a tent's set up out there, you're gonna be splitting hairs over whether somebody stayed in it last night, and they did, and they know it renews for a week from now from Thursday, so we'll stay in it 2 nights. You know, I think it's a week, and if it's a tent, the tent's set up, it's set up for a week, and be set up for a week.
so the travel trailer one had a thing about no more than X number of occurrences a year. Should we put, say, no more than 4 occurrences a year or something like
How
that?
you can keep track of that?
That'd be hard probably to keep up with, but
I'm trying to take that away now, at least. so that-
you can have it in there, you can have it in there where if you had somebody that was
Became
was a
repeat
pattern
offender.
of somebody breaking
Yes.
the deal, right?
If somebody
Yeah.
becomes a repeat offender.